Hello, friends, and welcome to Daily English Classroom. Today is a special day for our channel, and this video is the 100th video of our channel. And within this short time span of 3 months, we could reach up to 2,600 subscribers, and we have got a large number of viewers. And on this occasion, I'm really thankful to all my dear subscribers for making this channel a great success. I also remember all the teachers and my dear friends who have contributed a lot for the development of this channel. And unlike most of the other YouTube channels who make videos of English lessons in Malayalam, we always try to keep the medium of instruction in English because we are true and sincere to the students. We don't want to do any harm to the students who are going to write the exams in English. So we have done justice to the students by teaching them English in English. And I think probably this is the only channel which is teaching English in English based on the Kerala syllabus. So your support is our energy. So I thank everyone, my valuable and precious subscribers, for helping this channel to reach to such a level. Thank you very much, and welcome to our 100th video.
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi became Mahatma and father of our nation as he shed his heart blood and laid down his life for a free nation and free citizens of the nation. His life, full of struggles and sufferings, was a message to the posterity. Tolstoy Farm was a family and a laboratory of Gandhi's educational experimentation. In Tolstoy Farm, he tried to put to practice vocationalization and thereby helping the posterity and the youth to become self-supporting. In Tolstoy Farm, Gandhi practiced 8 hours manual work and 2 hours book reading for children from 6 to 16. It was the final phase of Satyagraha campaign in South Africa against color discrimination. The Satyagraha leaders attached greater importance to self-reliance as it encouraged a meaningful exercise in work for one's own bread with self-esteem and self-discipline. Actually, the birth of the Tolstoy Farm was from a practical necessity. Funds were running short, the morale of the Satyagrahis was sinking, and the movement lost the benefit that may accompany the establishment of a center where the supporters can meet and coordinate their activities. In fact, the Transvaal settlement mobilized money, boosted morale of the Satyagrahis. According to Gandhi, it proved to be of great use in the last fight. Tolstoy Farm was the first ashram established in 1910 by Gandhi during his South African movement. It accommodated Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Tamil, Gujarati and some African families too. Gandhi was deeply impressed by the idea of simple living and purity of purpose of the famous Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. Both of them accommodated the idea of love to solve problems of life. Out of respect and love, Gandhi named his association or his organization Tolstoy Farm. Dear children, now let's take a look at how the Tolstoy Farm works as it has been described in Class 9 English textbook. Wealth is lost, nothing is lost. Health is lost, something is lost. But character is lost, everything is lost. Gandhi had no belief in formal education because it didn't concern itself with the character formation. He believed that the best education to children can be given by parents themselves. Home is the first school and parents are the first teachers. Teachers are mere parent substitutes. So, he considered the ashram as a family and he the father. So, he decided to live amongst them around the clock as a loving and caring father.
Now, let's read the lesson Tolstoy Farm by Mahatma Gandhi. Tolstoy Farm was a community of Indians started by Gandhiji in Transvaal, South Africa in 1910. It became the headquarters of the campaign of Satyagraha, non-violence. The farm, 21 miles away from Johannesburg, had been bought by Herman Kallenbach, one of Gandhiji's supporters. Both Kallenbach and Gandhiji were highly impressed by Tolstoy's writings. So they decided to name the farm after Tolstoy. The inmates of the farm were schooled by Gandhiji himself. So Tolstoy Farm is actually a community created by Gandhiji in South Africa. This farm was 21 miles away from Johannesburg, and a Gandhi supporter called Herman Kallenbach has bought this farm, and they gave the name Tolstoy to this farm. And why did they give this name Tolstoy to this farm? Because both Gandhiji and Herman Kallenbach, both of them were great lover of the famous Russian writer Tolstoy. So they gave the name Tolstoy to this farm. Now let's read the first paragraph. As the farm grew, it was found necessary to make some provisions for the education of its boys and girls. So when Gandhiji created this Tolstoy Farm or this community, he was thinking about how to give education to this community, the boys and girls in this community. There were among these Hindus, Muslims, Parsi and Christian boys and some Hindu girls. It was not possible, and I did not think it necessary, to engage special teachers for them. So in this community, there were students from different religions and social backgrounds. There were Hindus, Muslims, Parsis, etc. And Gandhiji thinks that there is no need for any special teachers. Gandhi wants to give them education by himself. I did not think it necessary to engage special teachers for them. It was not possible, for qualified Indian teachers were scarce, and even when available, none would be ready to go to a place 21 miles distant from Johannesburg on a small salary. And when Gandhi created this community, he was also thinking about the education of these people. And he thinks that it is not possible to bring any teachers from outside because of two reasons. Reason number one, Indian teachers were very less in that area. In Johannesburg, Indian teachers were very, very scarce, and also they may not be ready to come and teach them to such a place which is far away from, about 21 miles away from Johannesburg. And the second reason is that even if there are some Indian teachers, they may not be interested to come to a far away place like this, which is 21 miles away from the Johannesburg town. And also Gandhi cannot give such a large amount of salary, because he did not have lots of money to pay for the teachers. So because of these two reasons, Gandhiji did not encourage any teachers from outside. Also, we were certainly not overflowing with money, and I did not think it necessary to import teachers from outside the farm. I did not believe in the existing system of education. That's very important. That's a main point of this paragraph. Gandhiji did not believe in the present system of education. Gandhi has got his own concept of education, and he thinks that the best people to educate the children are parents, and the teachers are only acting as the parents. And Gandhiji wants minimum interference from others in the educational system. He has got his own concept of educational system that you can see in this lesson. And I had a mind to find out by experience and experiment the true system. Only this much I knew, that under ideal conditions, true education could be imparted only by the parents. According to Gandhiji, only the parents can give the best education to children, and that then there should be the minimum of outside help. That Tolstoy Farm was a family in which I occupied the place of the father, and that I should, so far as possible, shoulder the responsibility for training of the young. So this Tolstoy Farm, remember, Gandhiji's concept of education is that the parent is the best teacher. So in this community, Gandhi himself acted as the father of all the inhabitants of this farm. Gandhi was the father. He has taken the position of the father of that community, and was staying with them all the time, helping them, teaching them, and changing them into good people. The conception, no doubt, was not without its flaws. All the young people had not been with me since their childhood. They had been brought up in different conditions and environments, and they did not belong to the same religion. How could I do full justice to the young people, thus circumstanced, even if I am assumed the place of pater familias? So Gandhi says, this system of becoming a family is with some flaws. Flaws mean some defects. Now, what are the defects? These people, these students who are studying there, are coming from different backgrounds, different religions, and different circumstances. So, it is difficult to give a common education for all these students. But I had always given the first place to the culture of the heart, or the building of the character, and as I felt confident that moral training could be given to all alike, no matter how different their ages and their upbringing, I decided to live amongst them all the 24 hours of the day as their father. I regarded character building as the proper foundation for the education, and if the foundation was firmly laid, I was sure that the children could learn all the other things themselves or with the assistance of friends. So in Gandhi's concept, he gives the most important position to character formation. Character is the foundation. When you are making a house or when you are making a building, we have to see that the foundation should be strong, and only on a strong foundation can you build a good house. So the foundation should be right. In Gandhi's opinion, the foundation is the character. And Gandhi gives great importance to character formation, and he considers himself as the father of everyone in that community, and he was living with them just like a father. He was staying with them all the 24 hours of the day. But as I fully appreciated the necessity of a literary training, in addition, I started some classes with the help of Mr. Kallenbach and Sergeant Pragji Desai. Nor did I underrate the building up of the body. This they got in the course of their daily routine, for there were no servants on the farm. So Gandhi gives great importance to character formation. He gives importance to literature, learning literature, and with the help of Kallenbach and Sergeant Pragji Desai, they were able to give some literary training also to the students, and Gandhi also gave importance to physical education. But there were no any training, any particular physical training for the students, but doing the duties and works in the house, by doing the duties and works in the farm, made these inhabitants very strong and healthy. Gandhi says that there were no servants in the farm. Everyone has to do some physical works. The works in the farm helped the people to be healthy. And now you know the reason why there were no servants in the Tolstoy Farm, because Gandhi gives importance to physical education also, and they got a good physical training by doing the different works in the farm. This they got in the course of their daily routine, for there were no servants on the farms, and all the work from cooking down to scavenging was done by the inmates. So actually there are no servants in the Tolstoy Farm, and the people himself, they have done all the works in the farm, like cooking, scavenging. Scavenging is actually finding useful things from discarded things. So these works are all done by the inmates themselves, and also there were many fruit trees to be looked after and enough gardening to be done as well. Mr. Kallenbach was fond of gardening and had gained some experience of this work in one of the governmental model gardens. It was obligatory on all young and old who were not engaged in the kitchen to give some time gardening. So, along with the physical works, there were works like gardening. There were many plants there in the farm, and they have to water it, care for the plants and all these things. And this helped them to be fit physically. It was obligatory on all young and old who were not engaged in the kitchen to give some time to gardening. The children had the lion's share of this work. The children's, they did this, mainly the children did the work of gardening. They have the lion's share. Lion's share means majority of that work. The children have done the majority of gardening, but the children were sometimes they did not do their works, and Gandhi secretly observes them avoiding their duties. Mr. Kallenbach was fond of gardening and had gained some experience of the work in one of the governmental model gardens. It was obligatory on all young and old who were not engaged in the kitchen to give some time to gardening. The children had the lion's share of this work, which included digging pits, felling timber, and lifting loads. This gave them ample exercise. So, this work of gardening gave good exercise for the children and also for others in the Tolstoy farm. And the children were mainly doing this gardening work. They took delight in the work, and so they did not generally need any other exercise or games. Of course, some of them and sometimes all them malingered and shirked. But children they are always interested in playing games. So sometimes they will leave from their work of gardening and go for playing, and then Gandhi has to call them back, because that's the nature of the children. Sometimes I connived at their pranks, but often I was strict with them. I dare say they did not like the strictness, but I do not recollect their having resisted it. Whenever I was strict, I would by argument convince them that it was not right to play with one's work. So whenever some children leave their work of gardening, Gandhi will call them and will advise them and will tell them that it is not a good thing to neglect one's duties. The conviction would, however, be short-lived. The next moment they would again leave their work and go to play. All the same, we got along, and at any rate they built up fine physics. There was scarcely any illness on the farm, though it must be said that good air and water and regular hours of food were not a little responsible for this. So, physically, all the inhabitants of this farm were very strong because they were doing their works. Physically, they were taking care of the plants, gardening, and doing other duties like cooking. So they were physically very strong. There were no any diseases or illness in the farm. A word about vocational training. Now comes the next important concept of Gandhiji, and that is vocational training. Now, what do we mean by vocational training? Vocational training is learning some kind of a work, some kind of a craft, so that we can support ourselves. Gandhi gives great importance to vocational training. He wants each and everyone to learn some kind of a work or art, so that they can live by doing it, or they can support themselves and their family by doing that work. So, a word about vocational training. It was my intention to teach every one of the youngsters some useful manual vocation. For this purpose, Mr. Kallenbach went to a Trappist monastery and returned having learned shoemaking. So Gandhi's idea was that every youngster should learn some kind of a work that will help them in their life. So Mr. Kallenbach also, he has learned the art of shoemaking. That's a work that he learned. So with the help of Kallenbach, they gave training to some students on how to make the shoe. I learned it from him and taught the art to such as were ready to take it up. Mr. Kallenbach had some experience of carpentry, and there was another inmate who knew it. So we had a small class in carpentry, cooking, and all the youngsters knew. So Gandhi gave importance to learning some kind of a work so that one can support himself. And mainly in the Tolstoy Farm, they gave training in shoemaking because Mr. Kallenbach has already got a good training in shoemaking, and also in carpentry. Carpentry means making furniture and other things from wood. So he was also experienced in doing some carpentry works, and so they taught the children carpentry work, shoemaking, and also cooking. So Gandhi made sure that everyone is learning some kind of a work, some kind of a vocation. This was new to them. They had never even dreamt that they would have to learn these things someday. For generally, the only training that Indian children received in South Africa was in the 3 R's. So this is something new for the people there in the Tolstoy Farm, because so far they have learned only the 3 R's. The 3 R's stands for reading, writing, and arithmetic. So the 3 R stands for the reading, writing, arithmetic. So these are the usual training that students got from their schools in South Africa. They just teach these students to read, write, and do some arithmetic or mathematics. But they never give any training in any profession or any work or any vocation. So this is something new for the children in Tolstoy Farm. On Tolstoy Farm, we made it a rule that the youngsters should not be asked to do what the teachers did not do, and therefore, when they were asked to do any work, there was always a teacher cooperating and actually working with them. Hence, whatever the youngsters learned, they learned cheerfully. So, Gandhi says that the inmates or the students there in the Tolstoy Farm, they really enjoyed learning things because they are always in the company of some teachers. Gandhi has given special instructions to teachers that you should give only those things that you are doing to the students. So the students are always there in the company of the teachers, and they did everything cheerfully. So that's all about this lesson. We'll see you in the next class. So stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do consider subscribing to our channel. And thanks for watching. Have a nice day.